Everybody, Brand from Bearded Builds here. Today, I want to talk to you about how I put together my flags. It's not super hard, but everybody has their own little things they like to do. So I'm just gonna talk you through how I do mine. Let's take a look. So to start off, all of my flags are made with one by material. I cut it down to inch and a half, so all of my flags end up being right around 19 and a half inches tall by 37 inches wide. And you can see here, I always mock up my flag first, make sure that everything is in the right order, that the union is facing the right way, and then I just know that I have to flip everything to the exact opposite side, including the union. Like you see, I flip it over so that way I don't end up with my stars upside down, just something looking weird. So I like to put it all together, kind of squeeze it a little bit, make sure that things are fitting right, and then I throw on my clamps. You'll see that I'm using a jig that I made. It really is just a piece of plywood, and then I cut out two strips and put it at a 90-degree angle. So that way I had a fence to really rest up against and make sure that everything was getting nice and tight. I really like to use my wooden mallet to beat the crap out of these flags and make sure that they're flat and everything is tight. As you can see here, multiple times as I'm beating the crap out of this flag with a wooden mallet. Still beating it with a mallet. But yeah, then I try and get just the right amount of pressure on these so that way it's not like flipping up at me and bowing. I mean, you put too much pressure on and it can pop up, and then it ends up having like a bow in the flag. And then on the back, I like to use just like 1.5 inch strips. Most of the time they're cutoffs or leftover pieces from my stripes that I have. I throw down some glue, flip it over, and use the brad nailer. I usually hit each stripe with 2 brad nails, as you'll see here. That way I don't feel like the strip is gonna move or one of the stripes pop off of that. And really the brad nails are just there till the glue dries. And me personally, I like to put 4 strips on the back, 1 at each end, and then 2 that are kind of spaced out in the middle. The one that you'll see over there on the right hand side, eventually it will be spanning just over the union and onto the stripes, so that way I can make sure that those are secured together. And again, glue, plenty of it. I mean, it's just squeezing out on the back of the flag. I'm not too concerned about it. And brad nails. Probably just to note, the brad nails that I use, obviously that's a 3/4 inch piece of ply. That's my strip that I'm putting on. You can use like a 1 inch. You run the risk of it not being in there far enough and not holding long enough while the glue is setting. Most of the time I use like a 1 1/4, just to make sure that I'm in there far enough. But I mean, obviously depending on how thick your flags are, you just want to be aware of that and make sure you're not blowing a nail through the front. So I mean, you can get away with 1 inch, but just make sure you've got really some flat stripes, so that way it's not fighting and those strips don't pop off. There we go, the last strip. Like I said, it just kind of spans right across the edge of the union and the edge of the stripes, so that way I just know that they're held together nice. And then that glue has plenty of time to dry to both surfaces. And I even kind of tilt my brad nailer to make sure that I'm getting the stripe, getting the union on that part. Then release the pressure and show off your flag. And that is how it's done. So, I mean, if you have any questions, comments, go ahead, drop them down below. Subscribe, bell, all that stuff. I'll have more videos coming out on just how I do my things and the process that I have for a variety of my different projects. So stay tuned.